7 weird reasons F1 drivers have missed races. Over the years, there have been some unusual reasons for drivers to miss a race. From prison to not being able to fit in the car, there truly are some odd "I can't come to school today" excuses. Here are 7 of the weirdest. Nigel Mansell couldn't fit in the car. Nigel Mansell got himself a drive with McLaren for 1995, but struggled to fit in the car in testing, complaining about how uncomfortable he was. The team set about building an entirely new monocoque to fit him, which would have been very expensive. He missed 2 races before he was able to fit in the car, but even then, the car wasn't very competitive. All Nigel did was complain and ask to retire, and after driving for only 2 races, he was sacked by McLaren. Bruno Senna, rude emails. When Bruno Senna had to miss the British Grand Prix in 2010, everyone assumed it was just for sponsorship reasons, but reports suggested that he'd actually been involved in an email thread that was very critical of his team boss Colin Coles. According to Auto Build Motorsport, the worst thing possible happened, as he accidentally emailed the thread to Coles. Senna was then suspended from the race because of disciplinary grounds, but did see out the season. A bit of an embarrassing one for Bruno if true. Bertrand Gasho, in prison. Jordan driver Bertrand Gasho missed 4 races in 1991 because he ended up in a UK prison for spraying a taxi driver with tear gas. Gasho had collided with the taxi whilst on the way to a sponsor event and confronted him. To defend himself, Gasho sprayed the illegal gas on the driver and got himself arrested. He expected to only be fined, but ended up with an 18-month prison sentence that was eventually reduced. This meant that Jordan needed to hire a new driver and fast. They were offered some money to take a young sports car driver by the name of Michael Schumacher. Not a bad substitution if you ask me. Juan Pablo Montoya slipped on a tennis ball. Yes, Juan Pablo Montoya missed 2 races in 2005 because of an injury he got playing tennis. However, that's not where it ends. What's strange about this one was the open secret that he really got injured on a motocross bike, not in a tennis match at all. Motocross was a contractually banned sport because of how risky it was for the driver to get injured, so no wonder Juan didn't want any Juan to know. Manuel Fangio, kidnapped. Nowadays, if the reigning world champion was kidnapped the night before an F1 race, it's safe to say the whole event would probably be called off, but not back in the 50s. At the 1958 Cuban Grand Prix, the 5-time world champion and greatest racing driver on the planet, Fangio, was kidnapped by Fidel Castro supporting rebels. They put a gun on Fangio and then walked him out of the hotel he was staying at. The rebels were apparently perfectly lovely to him though, and just wanted some publicity for their cause. Fangio was released after the race completely unharmed. In fact, he later became friends with the people who kidnapped him. Kimi Räikkönen, back surgery. Kimi was driving for Lotus in 2013 and he'd managed to get himself a very generous clause in his contract. For every point he scored, he'd get a £50,000 bonus. It seems like the Lotus bosses didn't expect their car to be quite as good as it was, and in the 2 seasons he had with the team, his bonus alone was worth nearly £20 million. Kimi decided to pass up on the final 2 races of the season to have back surgery for an existing injury. Although there was talk that Lotus also was not paying Kimi the money he was owed for the points he'd scored. Fernando Alonso, and many more, doing the Indy 500. Fernando was not enjoying F1 in 2017. He was in a 3rd straight season of awful Honda power units at McLaren, and they wanted to give a bit of a boost to their star driver. McLaren partnered with the Andretti IndyCar team to provide Alonso with an entry. It was a dream situation for him. Fernando missed the Monaco Grand Prix and was replaced by Jenson Button. Alonso qualified 5th at Indy and even led a bit of the race, but had to retire because of, yep, you guessed it, a Honda engine failure. He just couldn't escape it. There you have it, an insight into some of the weirdest reasons an F1 driver hasn't raced. Which is your favourite? Let us know in the comment section below.